Let's do a lighting tutorial with cluster lights. I have not been able to keep these in stock. These are the 50-foot cluster from last Christmas that I used on my 6.5-foot tree, and I was able to use 3 strands. This is the 50-foot cluster, and I was able to cover that tree with 3 strands of the 50-foot cluster lights. Like I said, I've not been able to keep these around, and I've ended the year and I only have 2. So I am going to light this 7.5-foot tree, and I'm going to use these 2 50-foot strands. I also have some 40-foot strands that I'm going to fill in on this tree at the bottom probably, but I'm going to start with, I already have 1 50-foot strand of cluster lights on the top of this tree, and those are on the back side. These are connectable. The 50-foots are connectable, and this is how they come. You just can do this, connect them to the other light strand, and that's what I'm gonna do. I have my connector on that strand at the top of the tree, and so I'm gonna go to the top of the tree and connect to that strand. They will light up because they are plugged in down here at the bottom. And I'm gonna do the top part of this tree with the zigzag method, just like I do with the snake lights. So if you're not familiar with the zigzag method, basically you are going to light your tree from the top to the bottom, not around the tree. You're going from the top to the bottom, and you're doing it in a pie shape or a triangle. So you're gonna be thinner at the top and get wider as you come down, just like the tree itself. And you're gonna hit every branch, and you're gonna go in and out with your light strand on every branch. So you're really lighting each branch, and you're doing it from top to bottom. Makes it so much easier to put them on, take them off. It's just a much faster, quicker, easier method than going around. You just, trust me, so much easier. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with this 50-foot cluster. I'm gonna connect it to the other 50-foot cluster. I'm gonna come down the front of this tree in a zigzag. All right, so these lights come twist tied together. They're in bunches. And if you wanna be sure your lights aren't gonna get tangled as you're putting them on the tree, one thing I suggest is to just stretch them out on the ground before you get to putting them in the tree. You can even lay them out on the floor, stretch them from the one end of the room to the other. Just keep them stretched out. They're not gonna, you don't have to worry about stepping on them. They're very sturdy. You can just lay them out on your floor. So that's what I've done. Okay. That'll keep them from getting tangled. If you take them to the tree in a big bunch, I think you're more likely to get a tangle. I mean, honestly, every tangle I've had have been easy to work through. So, you know, but I do think it's because I'm stretching them out, I'm undoing them, I'm not taking them to the tree in a bundle. All right, I've got them plugged to my other strand. I'm to a point where the branches are a little bit longer, so I'm going to come out with my light on the branch and then go back in to the tree with the light. Okay. Adjust my ladder. Maybe you can see what I've done so far. That's the top. Okay, we're coming down. Okay, I'm hitting every branch. Here's a branch. I'm coming out with my light to the tip of the branch, and then I'm pushing it back into the back of that branch. And I'm moving over to the next branch while the light is at the back, and then coming out on that branch. And then I have to go to the other side over here. Coming out on that branch to the tip of the branch, and then I'm pushing back in, pushing the light back in on that same branch. All right, I've already lit that branch with my other strand, so I'm coming down with my light strand to the next lower limb. All right, so my light started in the back, now I'm bringing it out to the tip, and I'm pushing it back on the same branch. Now it's at the back. All right, it comes out to the end of this branch and pushes back into the tree on the same branch. Moves over a branch from the back to the front of that branch, and then back to the back. Now we're dropping down another branch from the back to the front of that branch. Now we move over to this branch from the back to the front. All right, now we have another branch here. My dog is right down here, so I can't move my ladder much more. Okay, so I'm coming out on this branch here, now back to the back. I'm going to drop down to this branch here. It's at the back, now it's coming out to the front. Go into the back, coming out to the front, to the back, moved over a branch, out to the front, to the back. Now it's dropping down, okay, because I met up with the other strand on the back, so there's no need to go further because that one's already lit. So I'm dropping down, coming out, and then to the back. Okay, it's moving over a branch, coming out and back, and then finally we can maybe get this branch done. And then this is the connector end, and I'm just gonna stick that back in the tree. Easy peasy. Okay, so far I've got two 50-foot strands. They're plugged in together. That's all I have of the 50-foot strands. So I am going to light the bottom with the 40-foot strands. This is the 40-foot cluster. It's exactly like the 50-foot cluster. However, it's not connectable, and it's 40 feet instead of 50 feet. It has 1,000 lights instead of 1,500 lights. So this was another type of light that was popular for 2023 because it is a cluster light. It's just a different length than the 50-foot. I'm going to start here where I left off, do the same zigzag and go down because these don't connect. So, and then I'm going to plug them down into my power strip on the floor. This is it. This is a 7.5-foot green unlit Christmas tree, and I have added two 50-foot clusters and three 40-foot clusters. That's what it looks like, all lit up with cluster lights, and it's beautiful. I'm going to decorate it. Okay, so that's 1,500. 1,500 is 3,000 lights at the top, plus 3,000 lights at the bottom. That's 6,000 cluster lights.